So we have income and expenditure here. How to prepare income and expenditure account. This is income statement of non-profit organization. Income statement means what? Income statement means you are already preparing profit and loss account, right? Wherein what you do, wherein you take your income on right hand side, that is credit side, and you take your expenses on the left hand side. So this is the income statement of non-profit organization. As the same suggests, only revenue items, that is revenue income and revenue expenditure. Only revenue details, revenue items of your transactions will be taken here. Incomes are recorded on the credit side while expenses are recorded on the debit side. Both income and expenses must be taken on the basis of accrual concept. This account should reflect only items that are pertaining to current period. The balance of this account shows either a surplus or deficit, correct? If we prepare profit and loss account, there also what we do is we either find out a profit or else we go for a loss. Here what we are doing, we are either finding out a deficit or a surplus. So your debit side, your left hand side will be bigger or your right hand side will be bigger. Any one side, accordingly you will get deficit or surplus. The balance of this account shows either a deficit or a surplus. Excess of income over expenditure is called a surplus. Very, very important objective. And excess of expenditure over income is called a deficit. So excess of income over expenditure and excess of expenditure over income. Okay, they can ask you income over expenditure is called what and expenditure over income is called what. Okay, you should be able to answer. Your expenses are on, so receipts and payment and income and expenditure are on the opposite side. If you see, payments are here on the right hand side. Okay, and income and expenditure is normal like your P&L format, debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. But many times students do what? Receipts and payment. Receipts यहाँ पे है, so income also I have to write here. No, income and expenditure is like P&L, debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay. Now, features of income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account is a nominal account. All expenditure of a revenue nature for a particular period are debited to this account on accrual basis. Features of income and expenditure account. Here it is by nature nominal account. It is a nominal account. All expenditures of revenue nature for a particular period are debited to this account on accrual basis. All revenue income related to a particular period are credited to this account on accrual basis. So expenditures and revenue income are taken into this account on accrual basis. All capital income and expenditure are excluded. All capital income and expenditure are excluded. Only current year's income and expenses are recorded. Only current year income or current year expenses are recorded. Amounts related to other period are deducted. Amounts outstanding for current year are added. So only current year income and expenses are recorded. Only current year. Future year or earlier year income and expenditures are not taken into account. I'll take a pause. Please give a read. So nominal account, all expenditures are taken into account, all incomes are taken into account. Expenditure on accrual basis, income on accrual basis, all capital income and expenditures are excluded. Only current year's income and expenses are recorded. Amounts related to other period are deducted. Amounts outstanding for current year are added. So other period we are not taking into account. If it is outstanding, please add that. If it is related to other period, okay, say future period, you have to deduct that. Profit on sale of asset is credited. Loss on sale of asset is debited. Annual depreciation on asset is also debited. Profit on sale is credited. Loss on sale of asset is debited. Annual depreciation on asset is also debited. If income is more than expenditure, it is called surplus and is added with capital or general fund, etc. in the balance sheet. And same thing for deficit. It is added in the balancing figure is taken to balance sheet. Okay, now finally we have balance sheet. So it is prepared on the last day of accounting period. It also has assets and liabilities and prepared based on accounting equation. But there is no capital account. Instead, there is capital fund. The surplus or deficit from income and expenditure account is adjusted against this capital fund at the end of the year. Difference between receipts and payment account and income and expenditure account. Receipts and payment account, income and expenditure account. So receipts and payment is nothing but a summarized cash book, and your income and expenditure is normal P&L account or trading account. Receipts are debited and payments are credited, whereas income are credited and expenditures are debited. Very, very important answer. Higher chances of getting it in the question answer. Write a difference between receipts and payment and income and expenditure account, 4 marks. Transactions are recorded on cash basis. Transactions are recorded on accrual basis, your cash basis. If actually you are receiving, then only record, that is cash basis. Accrual basis, I am supposed to receive 10,000 fees from Mr. A. That's accrual. I have not received yet. I am supposed to receive. That's accrual. But still, I'll record that in my books of accounts. Amounts related to previous period or future period may remain included. Outstanding amount for current year is excluded. Transactions are recorded on accrual basis. All amounts not related to current period are excluded. Outstanding amounts of current period are added. It records both capital and revenue transactions. It records revenue transactions only. It serves purpose of real account. It serves purpose of nominal account. It starts with opening cash and bank balances and ends with closing cash and bank balances. It does not record such balances, rather its final balance shows a surplus or a deficit. Please give a read, then we'll go for next. Hello. हाँ बताइए. हाँ. हाँ, अगर नोटरी करवाना है तो भी चलेगा. मैंने तो इसलिए आपको मना किया कि वो ज़्यादा टाइम लेगा. नोटरी नोटरी क्या रहता है ना, नोटरी क्या रहता है कि वो ऐसा 100% हो जाता है कि वो वकील करके देता है ना, सब अग्री करके देता है कि हाँ हाँ ये मैंने चेक किया है, ये सब बराबर है. सो नोटरी इज 100% लीगल पेपर. सो यूजुअली आई सजेस्ट कि नोटरी करवा लो, बट टाइम कंस्ट्रेंट को देख के मैंने आपको बोला कि नहीं करवाएंगे तो भी चलेगा. हाँ हाँ, तो हम करवा लेते हैं. हाँ हाँ एग्जैक्टली, तो करवा लेते हैं, नोटरी करवा लेते हैं. चलेगा, करवा लीजिए आप नोटरी. हाँ, और मैं क्या बोल रही थी, एक है ना ओटीपी आया होगा लोटस का, आप वो मुझे देंगे क्या? हाँ 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 ओके. It does not record notional loss or non-cash expenses like bad debts, depreciation, etc. It considers all such expenses for matching against revenue. So we have summarized, it is a summarized cash book. First point क्या था, receipts and payment का, it is a summarized cash book. Income and expenditure, it is like P&L account, okay, which you prepare. Receipts are debited and payments are credited. यहाँ पे क्या है, incomes are credited and expenditures are debited. ओके फिर क्या है, ट्रांजैक्शंस आर रिकॉर्डेड ऑन कैश बेसिस, योर ट्रांजैक्शंस आर रिकॉर्डेड ऑन अक्रूवल बेसिस. अमाउंट्स रिलेटेड टू प्रीवियस पीरियड और फ्यूचर पीरियड में रिमेन इंक्लूडेड. You what you do is receipts and payment account is nothing but it's a account where all transactions you take care, matlab related to any period you take care of it. Okay, but income and expenditure is you have to work for it. Transactions are recorded only on accrual basis. So all amounts not related to current period are excluded. Outstanding amounts of current period are added. So you have to work your income and expenditure account. It records both capital and revenue transactions. It records only revenue transactions. Your P&L, your income and expenditure is recording only revenue transactions. It serves the purpose of real account. It serves the purpose of nominal account. It starts with opening cash and bank and ends with closing cash and bank. It does not record such balances, rather its final balances shows a surplus or deficit. It does not record notional loss or non-cash. Notional is assumed. Okay, notional is assumed. So here it does not record any such assumed transactions, say provision for bad debts, depreciation, non-cash, non-cash items, notional items. It does not record anything. but it considers all such expenses for matching against revenues. Its closing balance is carried forward to the same account of the next accounting period. Its closing balance is transferred to capital fund or general fund or accumulated fund in the same period's balance sheet. It helps to prepare an income and expenditure account, and it helps to prepare balance sheet. Okay, so the second step is income and expenditure, and third step is balance sheet. Okay, so that was for difference between receipts and payment and income and expenditure. Very easy but very important answer from exam point of view. Now we have few items related to our balance sheet. They are capital fund, special fund. So it is also called as general fund or accumulated fund. It actually the capital of a non-profit concern. It is actually the capital of a non-profit concern. It may be found out as the excess of assets over liabilities. Usually surplus or deficit during a period is added with or deducted from it. A portion of capitalized incomes like donations may be added with it. Special fund. So special fund is related to that particular, say, building fund, endowment fund, special fund, COVID fund. So general fund is usually taken, it is, capital of a non-profit organization, and usually taken to your balance sheet, and surplus and deficit is adjusted here. Special fund, it may be created out of special donations or subscriptions or out of portion of surplus. For example, a club may have a building fund. It may be used for meeting some specific expenses or for acquiring an asset. If any income is derived out of investments made against this fund, or if any profit or loss occurs due to sale of such investments, such income or profit or loss is transferred to this fund. So we have capital fund, we have special fund. Then we have, if a special fund is used to meet an expense, the following entries passed. Okay, so we have journal entries. So journal entries, and the journal entries part will do with numericals. So what is capital fund and what is special funds, that we study. Let us go for donations, legacy received and entrance fees. So donation received is should be credited to special fund account first. Okay, if it is, specially for that particular purpose, I'll come to you and I'll tell, okay, I want to donate for COVID purpose only. That donation is related to special, something special. Okay, so that will be taken to that special fund account, that is balance sheet. But if I tell you, okay, I'm donating 10,000, please take it. For other donations received, the bylaws or rules the concerns should be followed. If there is no such rule, donations received of non-recurring nature should be credited to capital fund. Recurring donations received should be credited to income. So donations, suppose you are receiving a general donation. If it is non-recurring nature, it should be credited to capital fund. If it is of recurring nature, it should be taken to income and expenditure account. Donations paid by concern should be debited to income and expenditure account. Okay. Legacies received, it is to be directly added with capital fund after deduction of tax. That is, you have to take it to balance sheet. Entrance fees or admission fees, it is recurring in nature. If considering as recurring, it will be taken to your normal income and expenditure account. But specifically mentioned that it is, if there is no such rule or specifically institute or that trustee has no specific bylaw, then it will be treated as your capital. Okay, it will be capitalized and it will be taken to your P&L or a balance sheet. Okay. Then we have subscription. Annual subscriptions are credited to income and expenditure account or on accrual basis. Life membership subscription is usually credited to separate account and it is shown as liability. Life membership, it is a liability. ऐसा chances है that I'll have to give the balance amount, okay, suppose unutilized amount back. So that's a liability till that period comes. Always advance money received is my liability because I have not given fees, I've not given services till now. Okay, so that's for subscription. Annual subscription, a portion out of that is credited to income and expenditure account. and deducted from the liability. Thus, the balance is carried forward till the contribution by a member is fully exhausted. If any member dies beforehand, the balance of his life membership contribution is transferred to capital fund or general fund. Okay. So this is related to our theory content. Whatever we studied here, we studied subscription. So what is subscription? It will be shown, it will be your revenue item. It will be shown in your balance sheet if specifically mentioned. Legacies, endowment funds. We studied about donations. We studied about what is receipts and payment, what is income and expenditure, right? Now, from our next lecture, what we'll do is we'll go for numerical problems. We'll take numerical problems. We'll start from illustration number 13. We'll try to understand subscription, how to solve subscription first, and then we'll go for illustration. We'll start from illustration 30. I hope you are comfortable with the lecture.